This program is brought to you by Trade Kings. Trade Kings, improving lives.
Good evening. Welcome to tonight's edition of Diamond Live. We appreciate your company. We obviously look at some of the big news stories coming out of the news Monday and Fridays. We always look at, the day's big news stories every Monday and Friday at 21:15 hours. Time for us to look at some of the things that have been happening, in the country last couple of weeks. We'll be looking at Zambia's state of the economy, and obviously Zambians, agitated around the high cost of doing business, the high cost of living. Trevor Hambai is an economist and financial analyst. Is going to be joining us this evening just to get to look at some of the issues that have been making headlines as far as the economy is concerned. But social media is also ablaze with accusations that have been directed towards entrepreneur and Ubuntu brand ambassador Chilekwa Mambwe, an entrepreneur who has been running this initiative for quite some time. Chilekwa Mambwe has been spearheading various cooperative and business ventures where he has encouraged people to pool their resources together, purportedly, obviously, to foster communal growth. However, there are claims that these endeavors have not borne fruit, with many individuals reporting substantial financial losses. Among the ventures that he has been spearheaded, we do understand that there's been the Ubuntu cooking oil, the online student application businesses. Mambwe has also been a very keen follower of quite many other projects surrounding poultry and chickens, watermelons, but many others as well that he will be coming to just sort of clarify. Would like to get more details and as far as these accusations are concerned. And he is our guest on this evening's edition of Diamond Live, right after this short set of commercials.
You've never done any
We asked the children, how many of you brushed this morning? And this little boy, his hand didn't go up. And I said, well, why didn't you brush this morning? He said, my brother was using the toothbrush. If I'd waited for him, I would have been late for school. I'm sorry, I get a bit emotional when it comes to that. To be able to change a child's life, to be able to bring back that confidence about their smile, for me, is phenomenal.
You've been nominated in multiple award categories. How do you stay winning?
Simple. I keep my eyes on the game.
Go getters, go get it. Win your share of $500,000 kwacha in cool cash and awesome tech gadgets. Grab a Hunter's Dry or Gold, flip the top, and SMS the unique code to 4501. Hunters.
Refreshes like nothing on earth.
Both these kids have a lot in common, but the cook are different.
Ew.
Yeah, right?
Didn't wash his hands.
Junior, you haven't washed your hands, Naiwe, and you're eating. No X. And now Mary, does she have the X? Yes, Iwe. Almost all illness-causing germs are spread by our hands. Aha! Mary got the X, the Hygiene X. Be like Mary, Iwe.
Safety is a proven fact only with the X, the Hygiene X. Hygiene X. You're safe in our hands.
It's possible with ZNBS. It's possible with ZNBS.
Chaboka, Bwelani Muine. Dream big, save, win, and build with ZNBS today. Open or grow your ZNBS savings account balance and stand a chance to win. A residential or commercial plot with building materials, a whopping 50,000 kwacha or 20,000 kwacha worth of shopping vouchers. Or you can be part of 10 lucky savers to win their share of 250 bags of cement every month. Just a minimum monthly deposit of 2,500 kwacha for individuals and 5,000 kwacha for SMEs. You are automatically eligible to participate in this competition. Start saving with ZNBS now. The more you save, the higher your chances of scoring fantastic prizes. With ZNBS, it's possible to build, buy, or renovate your dream home.
Deposit, save, win, and build.
Refined, the skincare you deserve. Dream.
Chilekwa Mambwe is an Ubuntu Brands ambassador. He's been on a serious campaign for economic independence. But there's also very serious allegations that are going towards him of been scamming people and swindling people out of their hard-earned resources. He's here to answer to these allegations. Chilekwa Mambwe, good evening, and thanks a lot for joining us on this edition of Diamond Live. I mean, you've been here quite many times.
And thank you so much.
The question that we'd like to start with is, why are there so many people that are calling you a scammer?
There aren't many people calling me a scammer, but it's a thing whereby, like a syndicate, it is a thing where some people organize themselves and because they are not satisfied somewhere, and then they decide to use a blogger. And because of that blogger now, he has set a tone and people can call me a scammer. And I've been watching and I've been reading, and I thought it would be imperative, or rather, I've actually done some bad manners. Good evening, Zambians. So I thought that it's imperative that I come on this show and just clarify certain things. I'm not here to defend myself, Cheswa. I think that would be the last thing that I would do. I want to defend myself, but I'm here, I'm not even here to justify anything, but I'm here to just look at the issue of an organization. Our organization, how it works, and also what projects it has done, because there was something on social media where someone was claiming that actually even the cooking oil, those trucks were photoshopped. And I think Sinewave in Kabwata is laughing because Sinewave actually did all the printouts for the vehicles, for the buses, for the canters, for the trucks. And also that there have never been any projects, everything has been on paper. And then Diamond TV should be laughing because when we received some containers of oil lubricants, Diamond TV was there live with other media houses. So I would like to say, in the first place, I've been called a scammer, and which has really been traumatizing. I think Mzambia ngatawako za kuchua ipaya, kuchua na doom. That's what I've come to realize. This has been traumatizing before me, my wife, and the entire family. Not family just because this blogger is known everywhere. He's everywhere. He has 621K followers. So calls are coming from all over the nation. Kwakaputa, Kundola, Koahaye, Southern Province. It has really been traumatizing. However, a scammer, according to Google, is someone who makes money using illegal methods, especially by tricking people. That is a scammer. And I want us to be strategic during this short period of time I've been given, thanks to Diamond TV and the CVO. This is a scammer, someone who makes money using illegal methods, especially by tricking people. I'll start with the Chicken Project, a project that saw us get contracts from great people like Zambif. Videos are there on social media and on TV. Most of the media houses actually covered us. Zambif, we could sell 43,000 broiler chickens. Heartlands, we could sell 70,000 broiler chickens. Even in this hybrid, we could sell 20,000 broiler chickens. We have a contract which can be availed to people from Zambif, and contracts from Heartlands, hybrid to Aleba Shtishafe. And we employed, Cheswa, we employed more than 60 people at the farm and 5 people at the office. 2 graduates from UNZA and others from other universities. And then from the farm, others were even graduates from Southern Province who did some sort of livestock. This is the project we are talking about, which someone is saying never existed. We had some ministries. I can even mention Ministry of Youth. We had Bachile Kangwa. We had Mpundu, by then she was the PSC SME. We had Bamubanga, Elias. We had Wangoma from State House. He actually is one of those people that visited the site.
So State House officials actually visited is it the poultry
Definitely
business?
Poultry business. That was selling 70,000 broiler chickens every 6 weeks.
How many businesses, how many initiatives at the moment are running?
Okay, fine. We have
and are viable that you could point out to say, yes, this initiative, this Ubuntu initiative is running and is actually viable, and you could show us physical evidence of the structures that you have.
Definitely. I'm coming to that. Or maybe let me answer that quickly so that I come to finish this word of scammer and what we are doing. Because a scammer is a person who tricks people, who does not have any project. We have the oil lubricants, Ngo Samsonda Road. People can actually visit. We are selling oil lubricants. The container arrived not too long ago, and we've been selling. Okay? And we have also been blessed by the government of His Excellency. We have got some artisanal mining rights. We have started preparing ourselves for gold mining. Okay. And apart from that, we are beginning to do feed production. One of our colleagues, a member, actually built a warehouse. You have seen Macheswa on social media where our members have actually even gone to visit some facility that we are actually beginning to run with our partners for making feed. Okay, the cooking oil project was going to be another next big thing that we were going to run. And this is where now someone should now say, is this guy really a scammer or not? Because before I even touch that project, the chicken project, how did this die? This project, when we hit, it was supposed to run for 3 years. Then when we hit 1 year, we made a profit of 40%. People were supposed to get their dividends. Now, this is what happened. People came and claimed everything. Now, tell me, Cheswa, you are a director with me in this company, and we are running this chicken project. Then all our members who have come in the name of crowdfunding, 3/4 of them withdraw the money, more than 4 million kwacha. Where can the two simple us get the money to put back into the business? This is where Africa has missed it.
You said you had lawyers that you had engaged to help you have legal frameworks towards these initiatives. Where are these lawyers?
Thank you very much. Lawyers are there, and you have asked the question at the right time. This is what happened. So when we, the chicken business, when we failed to sustain it because people withdrew the money, that doesn't make me a scammer. Because people have withdrawn money, and that is the company. So where can we get the money from? The project dies. So we have to now
So the chicken business project has died?
It's died.
What other initiatives are remaining? The oil lubricant?
I've mentioned the oil lubricant, but let me answer the question.
The watermelons?
I've not finished answering the question I've asked about the lawyers. So what we did was we said, okay, fine. Let us do the feed production project. Okay? And we started the feed production project. And here is what these lawyers said. They said, okay, fine. We just contracted them. They said, for you to run businesses properly, looking at where you're coming with the chicken project, because that chicken project saw more than 60 families losing an income. Then these lawyers said, you need to put up what we call guidelines. Guidelines for what? For investment. And guidelines for membership, which stated that membership is non-refundable, number one. Number two, when you put any money in the project, be it you send that money straight to the bank, or you send like some of the people, but so they fail to send through the bank, they will send through mobile to our people at the office, to us, and then we deposit for them, or you send that money through Western Union. The thing is that when you want to leave the project, okay, because that's what killed the poultry project, when you want to leave the project, you must fill in a form that has got guidelines for investment, which will only allow you to withdraw that money after 1 year. And we had an AGM, and that policy passed, if I may call it policy. And so at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is that our lawyers did their part. They did the guidelines for membership. They did the guidelines for investment. And that's why you will see that some people may cry to say, no, I have been scammed. Now, if I will be called a scammer for following the guidelines that the lawyers who passed through Ziari did, then I accept to be called a scammer.
How many of these initiatives are you running that require members to pay a membership fee?
How many projects?
How many projects? How many initiatives? Because the concern, Chilekwa, is that you have been running quite a lot of projects at the same time. Do you think that this could be amongst the reason why people feel you are a scammer?
Thank you very much. You know, like I told you that I'm not here to defend myself or to, justify anything. We are human beings, and when you look at the issue of running projects, I think this is one of the things that we can pick from people. That is the positive criticism that is coming from people. We wish some of the projects could have been shelved. Okay. So what has happened is that, of course, when we were running the poultry business, we also started running, when we were running the poultry business, we started running the watermelon project. The onion project.
Which hasn't taken off as well?
Not really.
Challenges?
Which actually took place.
Has the watermelon project taken off?
It took place. The onion took place. So in a nutshell, before I come to even those, how people got their money, I would like to state that I admit that indeed, when you start doing maybe a number of things at a go, it can affect the results. Okay. That is a positive criticism from the public, and we have learned that. However, let me talk about
And what happens to those that have lost money? Is it just water under the bridge for them?
Thank you very much.
With the legal framework that was in place?
So we should be careful when we say those that have lost money. The question is which money. So let me say maybe the people in the poultry, those that have not yet gotten their money. It is not water under the bridge. Because according to our lawyer, we had a meeting with some of the members where they were advised to say, if the company is liquidated, you lose out. What we need to do is to recapitalize the company and until the company pays you money, whereby for the whole year, no one should ask for anything.
Are you in touch with members that feel aggrieved?
Yeah, we are in touch with
the allegations. You don't respond to phone calls, you don't respond to messages, and people are now sending messages to individuals on social media. And vlogger Simon Mwela, who rightly accuses you of being a scammer, is having evidence that there are individuals in as far as the UK that have sent you money of over 150,000 kwacha. Let's talk about this woman from the UK. Did you get any money from this woman from the United Kingdom?
A lot of questions at the same time. So I'll come to that woman, but let me come to the issue of the project that I talked about. You are saying the people that have lost money. I've told you to say our lawyer has advised that we can actually recapitalize the project and pay the people that are remaining. Because we paid more than 4 million kwacha. And what is remaining is we are supposed to pay the few. We paid 600 people. And that's why the project had to go down. And then we are remaining with a few, about 200 people in the poultry project. Okay? And then the project that has to do with watermelon, everybody got their money with a 12% interest. So
all of them from the watermelon.
Yes.
So how many?
Onion. Just a minute, my brother.
I wanted to put people into perspective.
I'll forget what I want to say. People in the onion and the watermelon, if there's anyone remaining, I swear, it may be one or two. People got their money with a 12% interest. But here's an interesting thing. The project had promised people a very huge percentage, but of which, during that time, even Meteorological Survey was talking about Lusaka, not to actually go into planting things, okay? So what happened is that people, instead of getting the percentage that was promised, we gave people according to the profit that was made, which was 12%. So everybody, Cheswa, got a 12%, of which even if you had to put your 2,000 kwachai, mubank, after 1 year, you know that you cannot get a 12%. You can get less than 12%. If anything, less than 5%. But people got, the records are there. People got their money plus a 12% on top. Okay? That is watermelon and onions. So if that, again, when you look at the definition of a scammer, I don't qualify to be a scammer. Now, let's come to the lady in UK.
Did you receive money from anyone? Have you received money from anyone abroad? This is a very serious allegation that Simon Mwewa, a vlogger, has leveled against you.
Thank you so much. I didn't receive any money from abroad, but we received money from abroad through me. You get a point, eh? I hope you have gotten me very clearly. Like I mentioned in my preamble, I mentioned that there are some people, okay, that are in areas where they cannot send the money to the bank, okay, through the bank. And they could send to our people at the office, okay, Queen, I'm sending money through your mobile. Can you deposit for me, okay? And then there is a lady in UK.
But was that the right way to handle cash?
If someone is in Kwakaputa where there is no bank and that's your member, you create that relationship, okay? Administration and member relationship. As long as the money goes to the project, it is okay, according to us. And so this woman could not use the bank, but she actually used Western Union. And she could not send using a person on the streets of Lusaka who she didn't know. She sent the money through me. And the money went to the project that someone is claiming that has never existed. However, Cheswa, I would like to put it on record that the very project that they are saying has never existed. People saw me on social media when I was receiving the machines that someone put in who was based where? In China. I received the machines. People saw how we had a vehicle, the forklift from Chilanga what? This ZNS. After Linda Tanoff, that ZNS. We had the forklift and it broke Wamsharika's door. We had to put the machines in and we had to rebuild there to put the door back. Okay? Now, the interesting thing about this lady from UK is that because it has been brought in public eye. Now, let me speak out. The lady from UK wanted to be running the affairs of our organization.
Which is the Zambia Credit
and Savings Union
Cooperative.
My subordinates are there to confess.
Did she invest money in this cooperative?
She did, that very money. Plus, she also...
How much money was this?
That is a 150 in cooking oil, if I'm not mistaken. Then she invested in another project, the mass media project, where we have that property we are buying. And she invested in the oil, lubricant, a 9,000 kwacha for a sister.
The oil which is working, but the winter cooking oil which is still not working.
Is not working, yes. So all these projects I've mentioned, like the mass media, it's there for people to see. That's not a trick. The oil lubricant is there. Africans, why should we kill each other like this? Now, let's talk about the issue of the very project that they are saying that has never existed. When you look at that project, this woman, because of how she failed to manipulate us and to bossy us, this is what happened. This is the fact at our organization. To bossy us, this woman decided to withdraw from all the projects.
Including she withdrew her money?
She decided to withdraw her money from all the projects. So she said, I want my money from mass media. I want my money from cooking oil. I want my money from the oil lubricant.
And are you able to provide evidence and financial statements that you paid her back this money?
No, we have not paid her back the money. And this is now where, I'm taking you to our lawyers who prepared the documents which were having the guidelines for investment.
I know that we're running out of time. We need to have Trevor Mbai come on. But out of all of these allegations, you seem to have been painted black. I mean, your revolution around economic independence is a good revolution.
Yes.
But the accusations, the allegations that are coming towards you are painting you black. How do you intend to cleanse yourself out of all of this mess? How do you intend to provide financial statements or reports detailing the utilization of these resources from cooperative members? Because people have been paying membership fee.
Thank you.
Others have invested resources, but they have not been able to get their dividends. How do you exonerate yourself out of this mess?
Thank you very much. As I make it very clear with the last statement that we paid dividends in watermelon, dividends in onions, dividends in chickens, yet to pay dividends in oil lubricants, okay? And now, when it comes to this allegation, that's why I actually touched the issue of the definition of who a scammer is. And when you look at this definition and what I'm talking about, I'm not a scammer. And so, when you talk about what is the way forward, I would like to tell you that some of these people, you should ask yourself a question, Jessa, to say, why have these people not taken Chilekwa and the team? Because here, if anything, I'm the wrong person being targeted. I'm not a company. We have a limited company, and we have a cooperative.
Are the police investigating you?
Okay. Well,
have there been any, authorities, consumer protection agencies investigating you?
Of course, we are being investigated right now. Did you know that the people that put money in Dubai oil, they went to DEC and we are under investigations. They went to DEC. So I cannot preempt what is happening there, as you know, because the matter is being investigated.
And how do you bring back the confidence?
How we've been investigated, that there have been allegations that the oil lubricant project, Chaser, has made millions, which Dr. Michalika, our CEO, and I have bought houses, I've bought cars, I've bought farms. Are you getting that? So that is the right way to take. And I thank God, Chaser, for the people who are members of the Dubai oil. The route they took was the right one. These who have taken the route, Kuriba Simon Mwewa, let me preempt it. They involved not less than 5 legal firms, 5 law firms, which wrote to us, and our lawyer attended to them. They went to the police, Central Police up, okay? And their what's this, contract was taken to Force Headquarters. The Department of Legal at Force Headquarters looked at that contract when someone in Indola called us scammers, and we reported the matter. So people should ask themselves questions to say, we have these courts and the like, why have they decided to go to Mwewa so that they embarrass us?
Did you have a physical office at the moment where people can tangibly see you? Because the allegations that you had an office at government complex which has been shut. You are not responding to messages. Groups, you appear in groups once in a while and are not part of any groups. People have lost confidence in you. And moving forward,
before I forget, let me answer that question.
How do they proceed?
Let me answer that question. We have 2 offices. One is at government complex. The other one is at Ngosamsonda Road, where we have all lubricants. How can the office which was running poultry, which our own members shut down, operate. So we have people that go there once in a while, our IT people, they go there to do one or two things. You get me? So the office is there. Even the people that have brought documents from the law firms, like demand letters from the law firms, they have used the same office at Government Complex. Even a month ago, someone brought a letter and the guards directed them and they had to put it there. They set it and then our people, when they went to the office, they found it. So that office exists. Okay. The number two, we have another office where we are selling all lubricants. Other people, when they have any mails, they take them there. So the offices exist. What is the way forward, like you asked me? The way forward, I think the damage is extensive. Right now, I don't think if I applied for an American visa, you know what Americans do? They vet and they look everywhere. Social media, they find, oh, this guy is a scammer, is a crook. I can't even get a visa to go to America. I don't think I can get a visa to go to UK. The damage is extensive. Right now, the only thing that
is that why you've stopped using your social media platform? Because you are very, very active on your social media platform with all of these projects. Why have you stopped using your social media?
I'm going through a lot. What can I post even on my page when I've been painted black? This is not the first time this is happening, except our brother has done it with Pro Max. I have respect for that man. It's a Pro Max. What can I write? I've been traumatized. I've gone through it and I said, is this what it means to have a heart for your country? To say, let's do this together. Because now, what is the way forward? There is only one way forward. It's the courts.
Unfortunately, we've got to have Trevor Mambwe come here. We wish we could have more time. Are you going to pay back the 150 of 100,000 kwacha to this individual in the United Kingdom?
Who is you?
The Zambia
thank you very much. Of course.
Credit union.
Of course.
Are you going to pay back this money?
Definitely. What our sister is supposed to do is just to fill in the form, which is according to the organization.
Are you willing to apologize to Zambians who feel that they have lost out of their investment out of the poultry business?
Well, to apologize, I think our CEO has done that several times, and he has assured them that they are going to get their money.
Chilekwa Mambwe, we wish we could have more time to speak with you this evening.
Thank you so much.
Wish you the best as you continue in your endeavors as we look into economic independence. But Zambia's state of the economy is what we look into with economist and financial analyst Trevor Mambwe. Please join us right after this set of commercials.
Keep my eyes on the game.
There's a new wave sweeping across the nation. A youthful, vibrant spirit driven by the passion for a taste that boosts our inner well-being. A taste crafted in the heart of sun-kissed fields from Zambia's finest sorghum. A taste driven by the passion to boost your inner well-being. It's who we are, how we are, and where we've come from. Sogo, the new taste of culture.
Go-getters, go get it. Win your share of $500,000 kwacha in cool cash and awesome tech gadgets. Grab a Hunter's Dry or Gold, flip the top, and SMS the unique code to 4501. Hunters.
Refreshes like nothing on earth.
It's not business as usual because BizWeek is back with a whole new time.
When looking at Zambia, we're also looking at how volatile our exchange rate has been.
Join me, Tapio Ngoma, as I break down the biggest business news stories and give you a head start on your week.
About 50,000 Zambians who invest in the markets altogether.
Get expert analysis, public opinions, special insights, and a whole lot more, all in one show.
I think, like I mentioned, yes, with the coming of tech, there is going to be a displacement of certain jobs.
Business has never looked this good.
What does that mean, seeing as we have this debt restructuring deal that we have finally gotten?
Bizweek, now at 18 hours every Monday, only on Diamond TV.
Both these kids have a lot in common, but the cook are different.
Ew.
Yeah, right.
Didn't wash his hands.
Junior, you haven't washed your hands, Naiwe, and you're eating. No X. And now Mary, does she have the X? Yes, Iwe. Almost all illness-causing germs are spread by our hands. Aha! Mary got the X, the hygiene X. Be like Mary, Iwe.
Safety is a proven fact only with the X, the hygiene X. Hygiene X, you're safe in our hands.
Welcome back to Diamond Live. Now, Zambia charts its course through debt restructuring and economic recovery. Many Zambians are feeling the strain of what they term as living in harsh economic times. The president of Zambia himself has urged patience, citing the 5-term mandate to address the economic crisis left by the previous regime. In a significant development, Zambia has recently discovered the largest copper deposits in its mining history, poised to make unprecedented contributions to the country's economy and the well-being of its people. However, amidst these promising investments, many Zambians struggle with the unbearable cost of living as basic household essentials remain expensive and the kwacha continues to depreciate against major currencies. Minister of Finance Tumbeko Msokotwane has assured and warning the currency speculators, emphasizing the imminent influx of tangible money that will come into the economy. Trevor Hambai is here to give us a little bit of some context into Zambia's state of the economy. Ms. Hambai, thanks a lot for joining us this evening. Given the recent discovery, I would like to start there, of the largest copper deposits in Zambia's history. How do you, foresee this impacting the country's economic trajectory? Because this was sort of a huge celebration for many Zambians. But for a layman, how do you explain this?
Thank you very much. So the first thing is that obviously it is good for the country in terms of us having discovered this large deposit of copper. It is speaking to the continuity of the country being in the international space to be able to supply the copper. You know, we are the second largest producer of copper on the African continent and the 5th in the world. This is a positive aspect. But let's be realistic about where we are as a country. The first thing is that the discovery of the copper is that if you have read through the reports that are speaking to this discovery, is that full production, if they do actually get into full production, is only going to come into effect in 10 years. So essentially is that immediately it is not speaking to any positives that are going to be speaking to the current challenges the country is facing. But there is also an issue that I see around where we will be in 10 years. What we're actually saying that in 10 years we will have an additional mining entity that is in the country that is going to be one of the major producers in the country. The first issue that we must also be working towards as a country is that we want the mines in the country to be owned by Zambians. And we must have a strategy that starts now that is speaking to be able to allow Zambians to own these mines, so that in 10 years we've got a bigger proportion of the mining entities in this country owned by Zambians rather than foreign entities. Because this is the specific challenge that we're having right now in terms of the depreciation of the kwacha, that firstly the hard currency that we're generating from the mining sector is all being externalized. Secondly is that it's being externalized because those resources are being generated by foreign entities who want to be able to repatriate the funds to their country. For us to be able to deal with this challenge, we need to be able to change the paradigm that the one who owns the mine is a Zambian, so that they do not have the need to be able to expatriate the resources that we generate for the mining sector. And this is true for all our other minerals that we do have. The gold that we have discovered, the sugarlite that we're looking at, all these minerals need to start to be owned by Zambian mining firms.
With the current economic challenges, I mean, what strategies do you believe now, Mr. Mambwe, are essential for Zambia to achieve sustainable economic growth?
So that is a very clear position about what we should be doing as a country. As a country, we need to be able to drive GDP growth. Now, GDP growth is the one that is firstly going to start to create employment. It is the one that is going to start to reduce poverty. It is the one that is going to be able to allow people to have additional income for them to deal with the high cost of living. And fundamentally is that GDP must be growing for any of those factors to be dealt with. What you have seen is that since 2015, our kwacha has been depreciating from 6 kwacha to where it is now, to 27 kwacha. Is that is a 400% depreciation over the last 7 years. If you are looking at 2023, this last year is that we've had a depreciation of 36% on the kwacha to the dollar. This is the highest depreciation we've ever had since 1993, when that depreciation was at 62%. So essentially what it is saying is that we are losing the value of our purchasing power, the resources that you're generating. If you're looking at 2022, 2023, and 2023, the budget macroeconomic objective has been for us to be able to reduce inflation to a single digit, between 6 and 8%. This is not working for the country. Because even if we reduced it to between 6 and 8%, what we are saying is that we are reducing the rate at which the price of goods and services is increasing from whatever it is at 20% to 8%. But it is increasing. And as long as we have not provided a platform for people to be able to increase their income, it means that we're actually retrogressing backwards, because they will not be able to meet the payment of goods in that 6 to 8%.
The government is trying hard to reduce the high cost of living. Do you think that this is working?
I don't see where government is trying to reduce the high cost of living. The high cost of the only way you can reduce the high cost of living is to increase your income. Because the cost of living is going up, irrespective of what you try and do, it will go up. Firstly, there are issues that happen on the international...
Which is easy to increase your salary in government, but very difficult to increase it towards the private sector.
So, irrespective of whether you're actually increasing in the private sector or in government, is that it must be supported by productivity. Now, the increase of income that is being applied to government is an increase on your taxes. Is that you and me, who is in the private sector, has to pay more. So the general public will suffer more because you're increasing the income in government. To do that is that the taxes have to be increased to be able to generate that income. If you did this, there are two ways. Now, the way to do this in terms of increasing is you must increase the GDP. Because when the GDP increases, the amount of income the general populace makes is increased. Then government can increase the tax. So it is relative. But if the GDP has not grown and you're increasing the incomes of those in the civil service, is that what you're really doing is taxing the ordinary Zambian more money. And this is what you're going to see going into 2023.
Is it feasible to have, pick an essential food item like millie meal, to have a bag of millie meal reduce as time goes on? How feasible is
it? Defies economic
is this?
It defies economic fundamentals. Is that you cannot have a single item to be reducing in price when everything else around it is going up. The price of production is going up for everything else. As long as we are seeing the depreciation of the kwacha, is that must be reflected in the cost of production. Because this is being generated from a productive market that requires to be able to generate a profit.
Minister of Finance says, warning currency speculators that there's going to be some tangible amount of money coming into the economy, so we'll be able to see the Kwacha counter-attack. Is this possible, do you think?
I would be asking where these external funds are supposed to be coming from. If you're looking at the external funds that we are going to be receiving as a country under the Extended Credit Facility, IMF support, yes, there is some funds that is coming in that direction, but it is insufficient, because what really has happened now, I think under the IMF conditions, is that we cannot use those resources to be able to show up the exchange rate. But that is basically containing the depreciation. So the resources that are being promised to come in here basically might be the ones associated with us having to complete the debt restructuring. When we complete the debt restructuring, it creates a positive international perception on the outside, where the foreign entities will then be willing to say, let's move in to be able to invest. That investment is going to come in, but that is a long-term investment. And in the short term, you know that the investment of the investors is not usually in hard currency. They bring it in the form of equipment, technical experts, raw materials. It never is actually hard currency that is going to come to be able to show up this demand that we do have.
So it's not possible to project at what stage can the Kwacha sort of gain some appreciation towards the dollar?
So it is possible, but you need to put the right strategies in place that are going to be speaking to this. The point at where the Kwacha will start to be able to appreciate is when we have created a position of positive trade balance.
Which we haven't?
Which we haven't. Where we are generating more revenue coming into the country in hard currency than we are taking out of the country. And we haven't been able to do this for a very, very long time. So we need to put the strategies that are speaking to this. And one of the areas where you start from having to do this is obviously having to drive a GDP growth, because that GDP is the one that is going to put you in a position where you have got the productivity to be able to speak to the international market.
The JCTR, the Jesuit Center for Theological Reflection, projecting the cost of a family of 5 to be around 9,555 kwacha. It keeps going up in the last couple of years. What do you foresee the economic outlook to look like in the next 1-2 years? Is this price that is always projected ever going to come down, or does it mean that people, despite how much productivity they put in, will continue to have to want to earn more salaries? Do we see this figure, this amount, getting down?
There's nothing that will support this figure to come down. What you're asking me is it going to be possible that the price of goods and services are going to reduce? They're not going to reduce. The price of goods and services are going to be consistent with the depreciation of the kwacha. And the only time they do reduce is that they do reduce marginally when the kwacha reaches a degree of stability. If we can project what the exchange rate is going to be for the next 6 months, for the next 1 year, then the price of goods and services is going to stabilize, but unlikely to reduce. Because the exchange rate, in terms of the exchange rate, is that it is unlikely for it to have a drastic drop from where it is now, even when we stabilize the macroeconomic indicators.
According to you, what does a stable kwacha look like?
So a stable kwacha is not about an actual, is not about a target goal that 30 kwacha is the stable figure. No. The stable figure for the exchange rate is a figure that we will have that is consistent over a year. For 6 months, we know that the exchange, that volatility, the change in price in the exchange rate has got a 5 to 10% margin in terms of where it is moving. That is stability. So it is not, so it can be at 27, but as long as it remains consistent for 1 year, it's good for business. It's good for everybody. You and me can plan. So even a drop in the exchange rate that the kwacha starts to appreciate is just as bad to other businesses, because other businesses will lose money if the exchange rate appreciates. So essentially what you want to have is a stable exchange rate irrespective at what level it is.
What is your advice to those that I know that there's many people now that open dollar accounts and say, well, I want to save up too many dollars because I know that the kwacha, it continues to depreciate and I'm going to have to cash in at a later time. What do you say about all of these theories around, is it possible for the kwacha to appreciate and come up to, say, less than 20 kwacha, in the next couple of years, maybe a year or two, maybe back to 15 kwacha or even 10 kwacha? Is this theory really possible when you come to look at reality?
So I'm not sure about what you're talking about in terms of speculation. The ones that are saving up the dollar. The ones that are saving up the dollar are looking to be able to make capital gains on the appreciation of the kwacha. That when the kwacha is increasing in value, they will also be able to. So if I bought $1,000 today at 27 and the kwacha continues to depreciate and in 3 weeks' time is at 30 kwacha, I can sell my $1,000, which was 27,
get more money
and make more money. But if the kwacha appreciates, it means that you're going to lose money. So you are speculating in terms of what you're doing. If you bought it at 27 and it hasn't appreciated, it depreciates to 26, it means that you're going to lose. Your 27 now then becomes 26,000. So essentially is that this is forex trading, what you're talking about. It is speculation, and there are people who do this as a living, but you can also lose money having to do this. It is unlikely that the kwacha is going to be appreciating any drastic levels from where it is now in the short term, because we have not seen any economic fundamentals that are speaking to support the appreciation of the kwacha. There's also a lot of speculation about how much money is coming into the country, but nothing truly defines that it is going to be speaking to drive.
Well, the minister said that, so would you say that that's speculation? They are government.
So fundamentally, is the one that I have heard is the one that is speaking to money that is coming in through the mining sector, right? All these investment. So if an entity, which is a mining firm, say will be investing $1.5 billion into the mine, that $1.5 billion is not coming into the country this year. Is that they are going to spread it over a period of time in terms of the investment, whether it is going to be 3 years in which they will be actually investing the 1.5. If they are investing the 1.5 in 1 year, is that it will also be spread throughout the year. And that 1.5 is not coming in the form of cash. It is coming in the form of equipment, it's coming in the form of technical experts, it's coming in the form of raw materials. So essentially is that it will not be able to speak to alleviating this problem that we have of a higher demand than supply of hard currency on the market.
With government's emphasis on economic recovery, what role do you see for private sector investment in as far as revitalizing Zambia's economy?
A very, very important aspect is that in terms of having to drive economic recovery for the country, it must be driven by the private sector. But as a country, we need to be able to put the policies and regulations that support the private sector to be able to be incentivized to invest into the economy. And one of those key factors is obviously the same issues that you have seen around having to give incentives to FDIs, foreign direct investors. They are given incentives around fiscal incentives, tax rebates, tax holidays. Is the same incentives that we need to be able to provide for Zambians for them to be attracted towards having to invest. The greatest component of our private sector is SMEs, who are Zambians. 96% of our private sector is local SME Zambians. This is where the greatest potential of the country to be able to drive economic recovery is. We need very strong policies that will be speaking to supporting this sector if this benefit is going to directly benefit the Zambian people. You must remember between 2004 and 2014, when we had the greatest economic growth in this country, between 7 and 10%, is that economic growth was driven by FDI, foreign entities, and the resources were externalized. It did not benefit the country in terms of poverty reduction as well as employment creation. Is that we must learn from that position so that when we do have this next strategy in terms of our economic growth, we have made the amendments to ensure that we make a benefit that is directly benefiting the Zambian people.
In your own perspective, even as we almost conclude tonight's edition, have all economic recovery programs and plans by government failed to put back the country on a positive economic trajectory?
Are you talking about the present ones?
The present ones, yes.
So,
and the major ones is the president has always talked about how much he wants to get done with this restructuring program. I mean, we've seen the president travel a lot around issues to do with the IMF, bilateral relations, financial bilateral relations that he's had with quite many countries, and we can see him still talking about how much he would like to deal with this debt burden that's been left by the previous regime. How much more do we need to do to get Zambia back on track?
So essentially, I think there are two things that must happen. Is that I think in terms of our approach to economic recovery, we must separate the issues, the challenges that we do have around the debt restructuring to the issues that are required to be done for us to achieve economic recovery. That we must separate these two. First, you must appreciate what we have been trying to do in terms of the debt restructuring. What was the objective of the debt restructuring? That objective was for us to be able to create fiscal space within the country to have resources to drive economic recovery. By virtue of our default in November 2020, we achieved that goal. Because when we stopped paying, it means that the resources were then available domestically for us to do this. And we haven't been paying for the last 3 years. And that point is that when we should have started to be able to drive domestic economic recovery. I do not see what else is going to come into play when we do achieve the debt restructuring that is speaking to driving economic recovery domestically. And this is a very cardinal issue that is so important, that essentially we should have started to do domestic recovery so that when we start having to repay our debt, we're actually ready because we have the resources. Rather than the position that we are now, that we are working towards debt restructuring, which is extending our debt to another 12 years before we actually get to a point where we need to be able to do this. But we have also continued to be able to borrow. If you listen to the minister, when he made the announcement, is that our debt is actually worse than it was 3 years ago when we started the debt restructuring, because it is growing. And it is growing because we are borrowing to be able to support the budget.
So the debt restructuring program will be continuous for as long as we can imagine.
It will be continuous. No, the debt restructuring program will obviously come to an end, probably within this year, is that they'll be able to finalize the debt restructuring. But our debt crisis as a country is that it will fall back on us in another 12 years. When all these resources that we have, debts that we have restructured become due in 12 years. Then we will have the same crisis that we are seeing, and then we'll say, can we do another debt restructuring? We will change the English and call it something very nice. Remember the last time this was a hippie completion point, debt forgiveness. This one is debt restructuring.
How then do you propose that moving forward we create very sound financial policies around arresting issues around accumulative debt, but also issues around the very debt restructuring process? Because like you say, in the next 12 years, this will be another problem for the future generation yet to come. So how then do you financial experts propose we move forward with this type of situation?
So fundamentally, the answer to this is an issue of financial discipline. Some call it financial consolidation, where we need to live within our means. So essentially, we had needed to reduce our expenditure on the budget to be able to be speaking only to the resources that we can generate domestically. And then work on having to be able to drive the growth of the GDP, for the GDP to start generating more resources that are going to be speaking to increasing our expenditure capacity. The problem that we've had is that our expenditure at the moment is growing faster than our income. And what we have done to be able to cover that gap is that we have gone to borrow those resources, which is not a solution because it is unsustainable. It will throw us in exactly where we are right now. We have been borrowing to cover consumption. If we're going to borrow and we take this money into production, is that we will have the resources to be able to pay back. And this is exactly the challenge that we have now. The previous government, which was the PF, is that borrowed so much resources and put those resources into infrastructure development, which was beyond our capacity to repay. This current government has also done exactly the same mistake. The only difference is that they have gone to borrow the resources and they've put it into social spending. All the issues that are speaking to social cash transfer, FISIP, the issues around bursaries, free education.
Isn't that a good thing?
It is a good thing. Yes, we should have it. But remember, that expenditure must be supported by income, because it is unsustainable for you to continue to borrow to be able to implement that program.
Finally, under a minute, Mr. Hambaya, I also want you to give some, a lot of people watching us this evening want some, obviously would like to understand, and from my own perspective, probably give some investment advice to a lot of people that obviously want to get into investments. And you did hear the interview that we just had earlier. A lot of people seem to be lost with what business ventures to get into. Some people are having trust issues, others are having issues around being scammed, others have a lot of issues around which type of viable investment they can get into. As an expert yourself, how do you holistically look into economic independence, getting the country on a good economic recovery plan, economic program, a good business venture, but also having risks towards your investment? How do you reconcile the two?
So the first issue around investment is that we've all got different investment objectives. Is that I would need to understand what your investment objective is. But the two fundamental issues around having to invest is, firstly, in terms of your investment, is that you must spread your risk. So there are certain investments that you talk about, especially the ones that are speaking to speculation. You know, when an investment sounds too good to be true, walk away. There is always a problem when the investment is too good to be true. But essentially is that if you're going to be invested, is that you must have a portfolio that is spread, and there are certain investments that, so in terms of your investment as a portfolio, is that if I was doing my investment, I would be taking 30%, 40% of my investment into a guaranteed return that I will not lose, which is basically a very simple one, which is an investment where the returns are guaranteed, like treasury bills, okay, which is risk-free, as it is called. It's got some risk, but it's risk-free. Then you take another 30% into an investment which has got a higher risk, but it is also more secure. You could do it into an annuity, a pension fund, and then you take the last 30% into a high risk investment, so that when you do lose, you must be in a position to say, this 30% that I have put has got a very high likelihood that I will lose it. So you must be very careful about where you put that 30%. There are others who say, look, I don't want all this risk. I'm risk averse. I will take my 90% and I'll put it into a risk-free investment. And this is guaranteed. So essentially is that we must first understand what you want to achieve in your investment. But also you must look at your financial position. What is it that I can afford to lose without it putting me into distress? So I think that is the key issue. But in terms of you having to invest, the first thing that you must do is speak to an investment advisor so that you fully understand what risks are associated with every specific investment that you're trying to be able to do.
Trevor Mambwe, we appreciate your company here on tonight's edition of Diamond Live.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, we end our Friday's edition of Diamond Live here. Thank you to those that have been tuning in on various platforms, 271 on DSTV, GoTV channel 20. Thank you to those who have been joining us on our Facebook feed. We hope that we could have quite much time for both interviews, but indeed we hope that you did pick out one or two things on this edition of Diamond Live. We are back on Monday at 21:15, but we would like to advise you to join us as we continue to watch the Africa Cup of Games. Tomorrow is the 3rd and 4th place, but on Sunday we obviously tune in to the big game, who is going to be in the final. Good night.
biscuit.
Johnny, what's wrong with this machine? Do you know how this machine works?
Eta, no stress, Eta. Don't worry.
It's no surprise the whole town is going nuts about Cookie Joe Scotch shortcake biscuits. Cookie Joe, also in vanilla, lemon, and milk creams.
We're flipping the concept of success.
The streets are my school. The world is my stage.
We are flipping the boundaries on creativity. Art doesn't have to live on the wall. You can wear it, be it.
We're flipping the idea of beauty. We can be what we want to be, how we want to be it. You and your crew are the go-getter generation. You're hungry and ambitious, driven and passionate. So flip the script, refresh the rules, and turn your dreams into plans. See you at the top.
Go-getters, go get it. Win your share of $500,000 kwacha in cool cash and awesome tech gadgets. Grab a Hunter's Dry or Gold, flip the top, and SMS the unique code to 4501. Hunters.
Refreshes like nothing on earth.
Even when we're happy as a family, there is just that important family member missing. Hence, we had to do just the right thing. When we're sharing a meal, there is just that important part of the meal missing. Just Mega Pack, a gift for everyone. We are better together. Kukondwela Pamosi.